Shalom everyone, welcome to another TikTok React. Today we're going to be talking about a video by a man who talks about if there is a God, why is there so much evil in the world? Really classic, really good question, and we'll see what he has to say and see if he provides a good answer to that. We'll discuss it. Let's have a look.
If God exists, then why is there so much evil in the world? Here are 6 theological answers to that question. 1. The divine mystery thesis. God has a plan and we don't know it. 2. The Job thesis. God is testing us. 3. The Adam and Eve thesis. God is punishing us. 4. God is impotent. His creation is out of control. 5. God is dualistic. He's fighting evil in the guise of Satan. And 6. God is self-limiting. He's given us reign of his own project. Or 7. God simply doesn't exist.
All right. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the first time, if you watch this the first time, it's kind of like, okay, interesting. And if you haven't really thought about this topic a lot.
It sounds really smart. Like, wow, those are some really good answers to this question, right?
Yeah.
But do they really answer the question?
Yeah. The thing is it answers the question for someone who may not know the full picture and who may have something they want to believe already about this topic. But, I want to submit to you one more thing. There's something he conveniently left out of, he provides a lot of answers. And because there's a lot of answers, it seems like, okay, it looks comprehensive. So because it's comprehensive, it must be true, right? Not necessarily, because he conveniently leaves out
the most important
one. He doesn't talk about the fact that there is free will upon the earth, that God gave us free will. See, when God created us, he created mankind with a free will inside of them, where they have the ability to choose good, ability to choose evil.
Right. I started to interrupt you, but like as God says in his word in Deuteronomy, God said, I lay before you today life and death, blessings and cursings, choose life. That is free will. We're able to choose death or we can choose life. We can choose blessings, we can choose cursings. So how does this roll into this question that he's raised?
Yeah, exactly. So God, it's interesting because, many people, they want to put God on this place of, evil is all of God's fault because how could God create us, and now, we are the cause of evil. But that was an act of love, because ultimately, we can just think about this logically. If you have a wife or a husband and they love you because they have no other choice,
they're forced to love you. They must love you.
Right. It's just what they are. Is that love? Okay,
like a robot.
That's the big question. No, that's a robot.
Exactly.
Right. That's like if you can create a robot, you can program it.
Program your software. You will love me.
Yes, you can program a computer to love you, but that computer then doesn't have free will.
So it isn't really love, is it?
It doesn't really love, because true love is a choice. True love is an action.
And it's not forced.
Yes. And we can all agree on that. Anyone who forces their wife to love them, we would call that abuse today. Yeah. And so in the same way, God knows that true love is choice. He has to choose to love us, and we have to choose to love him.
Yeah. It's like the example of a suitor. When you have someone, that's come into your life and they're expressing interest in you, you have 2 choices. You can be like, yeah, I'm interested in you. Let's get to know each other. Let's pursue a relationship, all of that. Or you can be like, nah, I'm not interested in you. Kind of, bug off.
But if I stuck around.
If you stuck around.
And I'm like, hey, you must love me.
You're required to love me. In fact, I will make you love me. That is no longer love. That is abuse, like we talked about.
I would get in trouble for that. So.
But instead, there is now this ability that you can still love me, just like God can still love us. But we can choose him or we can reject him.
Right. Right, exactly. So, what we're getting to is that God created us with this gift of free will. And because of this, it creates a certain dilemma, because just like we all can choose good, and that is what we ought to be doing, we can also choose evil. And in our problem of having the ability to choose evil, many people do. Today, the world, I would argue, as a whole, chooses evil more than it chooses good.
And what is
likely.
evil? Evil is like, how you define evil. How do you define good? When you put your own desires, your own needs, your own wants above someone else, which is kind of what we do as humans oftentimes, that actually can cause harm. It can hurt someone else. That is evil. And sometimes it can look innocent. Other times it looks a lot worse, like when someone, for their own self-interest, molests someone else, right? We have different levels of what is really selfish and what is putting yourself above someone else.
But what's interesting about this whole argument that was given by the man is that he was trying to paint, he was basically saying either God is evil himself, or there is no God. That's really what he was trying to say.
Right.
But to say that as someone who does not believe in God doesn't make sense, because you have no code. You have no way of knowing what is good and evil, because what is good for you is evil for me, and what is evil for you is good for me. Like, it's just there. It's up to you. Your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth.
Right. Everyone has a different standard. For some person, their truth, what is good for them is, telling white lies. Okay, maybe a little bit of shoplifting if it's not a big thing, taking that packet of gum. It's fine. It's good. No one notices it. It's fine. It's my truth. But for someone else, of course, like that's not true. That's not good.
And there are some places in the world where human sacrifice is normal and fine, and that's their truth. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's some places, again, where honor killings, if you dishonor your family's religion, and you do something that they don't agree with, they are allowed in their religion, their truth, what is good for them, to go to find you and to kill you. As horrific as that is, but that is technically their truth.
So the point is just that if you do not believe in God and you do not believe in the Bible as a document handed down from him, at the end of the day, there is no way for you to stand on this is truth and this is not, because if we're atheist, if we're all just floating through the world, there is no God, and this world is a big accident, then everything is an accident and everything will be an accident, and there's no right and no wrong, and everything is just what it is.
Right.
And so, but obviously we, inside of us, there's a voice that says this is right, this is wrong. And that little voice is the Spirit of God that nudges us, and he leads us to the truth ultimately of the Bible. That's what he desires us to do. And so what we are getting at is simply that these arguments portrayed aren't good arguments, because ultimately God is holy and righteous and good, created us out of love to have the ability to choose, for us to be able to love other people and him. But for that to be able to happen, evil is possible. And the reason that there's evil in the world is because people do evil. Because people choose to drink themselves into drunkenness, get in a car and drive into someone else. Because people choose to drink themselves into drunkenness and shoot a wife or whatever. Because people choose, insert the issue, and that's causing death and destruction in the world. That's not God who does that. And now, one more thing, we can just talk about is people say, well, why does God not stop the bullet? Why does God not pull the guy who is a drunk driver out of his car? Why does God not, and go on, we can go on. Why does God not have all of this control? If he is God, surely he could do these things. Why
does God not stop the evil in its tracks before something horrific and horrible happens?
Exactly.
But then the real question becomes,
then ultimately, the problem is well, where do we draw the line? Because we're asking of God to start intervening in our world in a way that is extremely supernatural and different. And now, so everything that is wrong, we ask him to pull and change.
Out.
Right. And as we do that, what we're really asking him to do is remove free will.
And also, if you were to say, okay, God, why don't you just take the evil out of this world, the evil people? He has to take you out then too.
He has to take us all out.
We all are gone because we all do evil things. We all have stolen. We all have hated someone in our heart, murdering them in our heart, or maybe even, doing worse things, right? We all have done these things.
Oh, but those things don't sound too bad. So I mean, maybe if I just say sorry and I'm a good person from today, surely then I'm going to be a good person.
Right, but we have all done every single one of these things, and before a holy God, we can't stand before him. Even these things that we make excuses and say they're innocent, because we focus on ourselves and what we think is good, and not what someone else will think is good, and not to mention what God defines as good according to his word.
And the standard is just so much higher.
It is.
So much higher than we are.
It is.
So, brothers and sisters, I hope that this is giving you some things to think about. Think about these things. It's very important for us to have an answer to them, and I hope that this could be something to ponder for many of you. If this meant something to you, hey, like this video, subscribe for more videos like this one, and share this video with your friends. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Many blessings and shalom.
Shalom.